I want to talk, gentlemen, about Ofcom, and a lot of people get confused to what Ofcom does and when it's applicable and when it's not. And I know you've got very strong views, James. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing with Ofcom, right, is I'm going to go back to the COVID period when we had all those TV doctors telling us that the jabs were 100% safe and effective. We literally, there's lots of videos, Good Morning Britain, all the other morning TV stuff. That was allowed. And there was no evidence for that at the time that they were 100% safe and effective. And yet, I wrote a letter complaining about Nadine Dorries to the UK Statistics Authority because she was going on the TV and also writing in the Times and other places as well, saying that 90% of everybody in the ICUs were all unvaccinated. It was one of those kind of things that one person says, and then you read it in the Times, you read it in the Telegraph, and everybody repeats it. And she was allowed to get away with that, even though the UK Statistics Authority, they wrote a letter to her telling her that it was incorrect. They totally supported they wrote a public letter telling her off. Me and Jamie Jenkins, my former colleague from the ONS, we both wrote to Ofcom to inform them of all of this and the fact that Nadine was just carrying on the TV, and they did nothing. They do absolutely nothing on that, and yet they let these doctors go on there and talk absolute nonsense. Ofcom is it's a government quasi organisation. It's not actual government. Obviously, the people are picked by government ministers. But I'm glad that TNT is not regulated by Ofcom because it means we can say what we want. I mean, look what they're doing to GB News. They're constantly on the case with GB News, taking them to finding them money and putting cases against them. So I haven't got a lot of time for Ofcom, Andrew. But if you're a public broadcaster, you broadcast on terrestrial channels, you're on DAB, FM and all of that, you have to sign up to Ofcom rules. And so they get to regulate you. But because we go out on the internet, we are not regulated by Ofcom. So we can say what we want. We can be biased. I can say exactly what I think. I don't need to be balanced. And if I think the Tories are a bunch of scumbags, I can say that.
Yes, and you've never been backwards in coming forward with what I love. I mean, Ofcom, just to put it in perspective, it is the Regulation and Competition Authority for the UK communications industry. As you say, Ofcom licenses all commercial television radio services, and they include things like the BBC, Sky, GB News and Channel 4, which means that broadcasters must comply. But basically, they can revoke licenses, so it's quite tough on that sort of basis. And what they do under elections, it's all to do with the Communications Act of 2003 and other legislation. What they try to do is make sure there's impartiality, make sure everything's balanced. So basically, if you mention one candidate, you have to mention a whole load of others just to make sure during this particular period that that's fair. We at the moment don't have those particular restrictions, which is why we can make comments that we do make. That's fair, isn't it, Basil?
Yeah, and long may it continue that I mean, it should really be a basic human right that we're allowed to come on the internet and say to fellow human beings exactly what we like, particularly about the people that govern us and the people that seek to govern us.